What's up, everyone? This is your host, Ghost, coming to you live with another wonderful video. How's everyone doing today? I'm tired. It's cold. Oh, we're a bit. Got my poor little heater running. It's not enough yet. Oh, in my defense, I only started running it like 10 minutes ago, so isn't quite gotten enough time to build up enough heat to keep me nice and warm down here. But that's okay. Um, So today we're just going to talk about Ukraine bombing Russia. We're going to go over Trump's cabinet picks, and then we're just going to go over. We're going to watch some funny videos too here and there. Some of the things that Trump says he wants to do. Ugh. And then we're gonna go over some of the picks, and then I'll talk about what I think this presidency should be about, or should happen. So I'm gonna say probably a short video. I'm exhausted, body hurts. So, anyways, let's get to it. But before we get into it, let's do a little housekeeping. Follow me on X at official W Ghosts. It's the best way to find out when I go live. You could also watch me live if you choose to. Oh. And then, of course, rumble.com/withghost, youtube.com/@withghost, and twitch.tv/officialwithghost. So those are my various channels. Check me out. All right. So let's get to it. So first things first, the bombing. So this happened, a day ago? Yeah, a day ago. Day or two. Ukraine hit Russia with Ukraine hit a Russian weapons arsenal with US made ATACMS missiles that it fired across the border for the first time, according to two US officials, in a major escalation on the 1000th day of war. The attack comes just 2 days after the Biden administration gave Kiev the green light to use the long range American weapon against targets inside Russia. Oh, excuse me. Russian defense minister said Ukraine fired 6 ballistic missiles at a facility in Bryansk at 3:25 a.m. local Tuesday, and that ATACMS missiles have been used in the attack. The attack marks the first time Ukraine has used the long-range American weapons to strike targets deep inside Russia, and shows that Kiev have wasted little time in making use of its newly granted powers. Ukraine President Zelensky declined to confirm or deny the attack during a Tuesday news conference, but said Ukraine has long-range capabilities. Ukraine has long-range drones for its own production. We now have a long Neptune Ukraine cruiser missile, and not just one. Now we have ATACMS, and we will use all of this. Russian air defense said they shot down 5 of the missiles, and another was damaged. Fragments from the damaged missile fell on the territory of a military facility, causing a fire that has been since extinguished. There were no casualties or damage. So, if Russia's to believe that the missile fire was useless, it was useless. Didn't do shit. On the same day of the attack, Russian President Vladimir Putin, updated Russia's nuclear doctrine, where Moscow will consider aggression from any non-nuclear state, but with the participation of a nuclear country, a joint attack on Russia. In what appears to be a fresh round of saber rattle, the Kremlin said Tuesday the revised military doctrine would, in theory, lower the bar to the use of nuclear weapons. U.S. President Joe Biden has authorized Ukraine to use long range American missiles inside Russia on Sunday, ending a month long prohibition aiming to help Ukraine defend itself while not drastically escalating its conflict. The decision came at a crucial moment in Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Russia is probing on the front lines in Ukraine's east while pummeling its cities with missiles and drone strikes, aiming to disable Ukraine's power grid and weaponize the freezing temperature for a third consecutive winter. And then, meanwhile, thousands of North Korean troops have been deployed to Russia's Kursk region, where Ukraine troops launched a daring counteroffensive in the summer. So Matthew Miller, a U.S. State Department spokesman, said the involvement of North Korean troops in the war was a major escalation by Russia, bringing in an Asian military to a conflict inside Europe. I'd say a bigger escalation is bombing inside Russia. Let's see. So the decision to allow the use of the Army tactical missile system inside Russia has been under consideration for months, with American officials divided on the wisdom of allowing the new capabilities. Some had concerns about escalating the war, while others worried about dwindling stockpiles of the weapons. Other Western allies remain more cautious. At the G20 summit in Brazil on Tuesday, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz reiterated his stance of withholding Tartus missiles from Ukraine, adding that supplying cruise missiles would be a mistake. Although Kiev has repeatedly used Ukraine-made drones to hit targets in Russia, deeper into the country than Bryansk, Moscow has long maintained that using far-reaching Western missiles could constitute a major escalation. Let's see. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said Tuesday that Moscow will view launches of U.S.-made long-range missiles as a new phase of war by the West. American officials said they were unsurprised by the news of Putin updating Russia's nuclear doctrine. Russia has been signaling its intent to update its doctrine for several weeks, a U.S. official told CNN. All right. Pentagon Deputy Press Secretary Sabrina Singh said at a briefing, the U.S. doesn't have any indications that Russia is preparing to use a nuclear weapon within Ukraine, adding it's the same irresponsible rhetoric that we've seen before, and that we've frankly seen for the past 2 years. More than 2.5 years of war, Russia has often rattled the nuclear saber in response to perceived escalations by Ukraine and its allies. After French President Emmanuel Macron said earlier this year that he would not rule out sending European troops to Ukraine, Putin ordered a tactical nuclear weapons drill in response to what he called threat by the West. For months, Ukraine President Zelensky has argued that the long-range capabilities of our army is a key part of his victory plan for winning the war. There we go. So, responding on Sunday evening to reports of Biden's green light, Zelensky said strikes are not carried out with words. Such things are not announced. Missiles will speak for themselves. All right, so there we go. Well, it's just interesting that this was under consideration for months, but when they lose the election, then they actually suddenly approve. They're like, "Oh yeah, no, we're going to definitely approve this." So I mean, the question again is was this an attempt to harm the Trump presidency before it gets off the ground, escalating it even higher? uh, to the point where they're like, it's going to severely hamper Trump presidency and his attempt for peace. Because, after Trump was elected, you got some relative peace going on. Like, uh, a lot of things like settled down, and a lot of calls for peace in various countries. We saw that within a few days of Trump being winning the election. Now all of a sudden there's a sudden escalation between Ukraine and, or at least on Ukraine part, and it's just very interesting that all of a sudden we're gonna suddenly do this shit. 1 second, I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. But like I said, it's just weird that all of a sudden, they were considering this for months and months and months, and then after the election is over, a couple weeks afterwards, it's no, yeah, definitely, yeah, go ahead and use long range missiles, even though there's gonna be a new administration in let's see, what in a month and in a couple days. Let's see, hold on. So let's see, so 1 month. So like a month and 3 weeks, there's going to be a new uh, presidency. So, but we're going to grant you, it's just it's weird. Is this an attempt to sabotage Trump's attempt at peace? Um, which I mean, I think if people are honest, going to be like, yeah, if Trump fails to live up to his promise of peace, it's going to be easy for everyone to blame this. He'd be like, yeah, I was all for peace. I was going to have peace, and then just while within the while Biden's administration was still going on, they ended, they allowed Ukraine to start bombing Russia. How easy is it going to be for me to get peace now? I can't get peace because all because of Biden. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on, and or is Trump will Trump be able to use this? Like, look, we gave him the green. The last presidency they gave him the green light to start bombing you guys. What do you think I'm going to do? It's another, yeah, that could be a tactic he'll end up using. It's like, hey, that lame duck president, the guy that you weren't really afraid of, he even started bombing you. What do you think I'm going to do if you keep playing with this, playing these games? What do you think I'm going to do? So you could use it that way too. But again, like I said, it's just weird that that we're gonna all of a sudden have this happen, or the green light's gonna be given after the Trump victory and his attempts to make peace. As he apparently, like if within a few days of him winning, he called like several foreign leaders. A lot of things started calming down. So we'll see. I'm sure we'll see if Trump's going to be able to actually get his piece done. Like I said, like if he does end the war, it's not going to be, oh, Russia's going to give up the territory they've taken. At it's either gonna be a they come to some agreement that Russia is going to keep the territories they've taken, or it's gonna be um, hey, let's have them put it up to a vote, and if they want to stick with Russia, then they can. If they want to stick with Ukraine, they can. If they want to become their own own separate nation, they can. So I think that's what it's going to end up coming down to. But we'll see. But it's not gonna. It's at best it's going to come down to a vote within that nation, or it's just going to be like, here, Russia, you can have it, because there's no way Russia's going to give up that territory. And here's something else that's pretty funny. So this is Zelensky doing an interview. So Ukraine President Zelensky laughed at the idea of Trump bringing Russia in Ukraine to the table to negotiate peace. He says Ukraine is independent and should be treated as such. All right, that's fine. Let's listen to what he says.
Перше, сильна Україна. Вона повинна бути сильною для будь-якої дипломатії. Хочу ще раз це підкреслити.
Але США не лише потенційний посередник в переговорах, це країна, яка надає величезні обсяги допомоги Україні і яка може спонукати нас до того, щоб ми сіли за стіл переговорів. Який меседж ви отримали від Дональда Трампа під час тих контактів, які у вас з ним були? Тобто як він каже? Він каже, я стану президентом і сідайте за стіл переговорів. Як це виглядає?
Я думаю, що він так не каже. Ми незалежна Україна, і мені здається, в час цієї війни наш народ і я особисто в перемовинах зі Сполученими Штатами Америки і з Трампом, і з Байденом, і з іншими європейськими лідерами довели, що з нами риторика «сідай і слухай» не працюючи. І це не через те, що ми такі, а через те, що так ми повинні відноситись, в принципі, до будь-якої країни, будь-якого народу, будь-якого лідера. Поважати. Це, в принципі, рівність, одна з цих цінностей, за які ми боремося сьогодні.
Okay. So, it's like, oh, we're an independent country, should be treated such, blah, 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 fucking blah. Well, then pay for it yourself. Fuck you then. If you think you have, look, Zelensky, if you think you have any power here to be like, oh, well, I'll just keep fighting regardless of what they say. All right, fine. We're not going to pay for it then. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself, dude. Go fuck yourself. If you want to be like this, all right, fine. No big deal. All right, go ahead. Be you, dude. Do you, boo. But guess what? We're not going to pay for it. All right. You wouldn't have lasted as long if it weren't for money sent to you by us. What was it? 60 billion? Okay. You think you're going to be able to fight a war without our assistance at all? Like, Russia will steamroll you. So if you think that you have any say of whether you're going to come to the negotiation table, go fuck yourself. Like, you can give all this, oh, ha, 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 we're independent, blah, 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 fucking blah. But guess what? If we say, all right, cool, that's fine. You're not getting any more money for us. How quickly you think that war is going to end? Okay. Russia will destroy you. Go fuck yourself, dude. Fuck off. It's so annoying how cocky he is when, what was it, a few months ago he came over and was begging for money. Please give me money. Please, 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 please. And now he's like, oh, we're an independent country and we should be treated as such. Blah, 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 blah. All right, well, then if you're an independent country, independently fund the war yourself, dude. Go fuck yourself. But I remember seeing that, and it just was strike me with some sheer audacity here. That you're gonna come here and talk about, oh well, we're an independent country and we're blah blah blah. It's like, dude, if it wasn't for us, you would have lost long ago. Your entire country would be Russia. Like, don't even start this crap with me or with us. But it's what it is. What can you do? So there. So yeah, again, it's so strange that we just had this just happened. Less than 2 months away from Trump taking office and doing his peace that he wants. So, anyways, all right, moving on. Let's check out Trump's cabinet picks. There's been a lot of his picks. God, I'm starving. Okay. So So these are Trump's picks so far. All these, of course, are unconfirmed at the moment. I don't think they get confirmed for a while. Not quite yet. I think he has to take over the presidency and then he gets confirmed or starts the confirmation process. Sorry about that. So he's got, for Secretary of State, he's announced he's got Mark Rubio. Secretary of Defense is Pete Hegseth. Attorney General Matt Gaetz. Doug Burgum for Secretary of the Interior. Howard Ludwig for Secretary of Commerce. Robert F. Kennedy for I think this is health and whatever. The fuck is H? Health and Human Services Secretary. Sean Duffy for Secretary of Transportation. Chris Wright, Secretary of Energy. Lyndon McMahon for Secretary of Education. Douglas Collins, Secretary of Veteran Affairs. Kristi Noem, Secretary of Homeland Security. Matt Waltz, National Security Advisor. EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, and the Ambassador of the United Nations, Eliza Stefakin. Susie Wiles, this was his campaign manager, his White House Chief of Staff. Elon Musk is going to be the head of DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency. He's going to lead that with his co-lead Vivek Ramaswamy. Tulsi Gabbard is Director of National Intelligence. John Ratcliffe is CIA Director. Mike Huckabee is Ambassador to Israel. Steve Witkoff, Special Envoy to the Middle East. Dr. Oz, Centers for Medical and Medicaid Services Administrator. This was just announced. Bill McKinley, White House Counsel. Border Czar is Tom Homeland. Deputy Chief of Staff is Dan Scovio. Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy and Homeland Security Advisor is Stephen Miller. James Blair, Deputy Chief of Staff for Logistic, Politics, and Public Affairs. Taylor Budwich, Deputy Chief of Staff for Communication and Personnel. Those are his picks so far. There's been a lot of controversy with like Mark Rubio. Mark Rubio was a never Trumper, I guess. There's been some complaints, okay, with Mark Rubio. Let's see. I think they said that he didn't do enough during COVID and all that stuff. He apparently is doing better now about it. So I don't know. I don't know Mark Rubio's policies that well. There's people are complaining. Some people think it's good. I say, let's give it a year. Like, let's, we can, of course, complain and say, hey, I don't agree with this at all. There's nothing that wrong with that. But, there were people saying J.D. Vance was a terrible pick, and he turned out to be a great pick for a Trump presidency for his vice president slot. So I'd say just give him a chance. I say give him a year, and then, again, criticize all you want. Like, no way should you not criticize anything. But, let's give it a year at least before we, say this is like the worst pick of all times, because he might surprise you. Okay, Mark Rubio might surprise you. So that's just my opinion. It's just give it a year before you saying, oh, this was the worst pick of all times. Blah, 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 blah. Like, you can be like, hey, I don't agree with this pick. Here's why and all that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But like I said, just give it a year before you start saying, oh, this was the worst pick of all times. Let's see. So then for the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, his criticism for being picked, it has because Mark Rubio's pick, the controversy of his pick, I think is more within the Trump camp, like the Trump supporters and all that. That's their as who they have that's generally I've been seeing have a problem with the pick. But Pete Hegseth is what people are. This is the leftists, more like Democrats, who's saying this is a terrible pick, because Pete Hegseth is a former Fox News host, but he's also an Army vet. So I don't know. They're saying he's the worst. He's a terrible pick, but Secretary of Defense. I mean, you're gonna pick a Secretary of Defense. He's at least he's a vet. That's I don't they're like, oh, what is his qualification? Blah blah blah. Don't really care. Dude seems kind of base. He's questions women serving in combat, based as fuck. Let's see. Like what is he? Yeah, he's got 2 Bronze Stars. So yeah, this is a this is a guy who's been to war and understands the consequences of war. He's apparently a very sharp dude. Um, so I don't know. I don't see why there's a. I don't see why there's anything bad with this guy's pick. I think it's smart to have someone who's a Secretary of Defense uh to be someone that we're like to have someone who understands the consequences of war and can help make that decision that most Secretary of Defenses don't. So I don't know. That's just me. Again, I don't follow a lot of these guys' policies or politics, so it's not something that I'm really super aware of. So maybe there's something that behind Pete that I don't know about, but I don't seems like a sharp dude from what I've seen so far. So I don't know, just me. Matt Gaetz is Attorney General. This is hilarious. uh, I like Matt Gaetz. Like again, I like none of these people. I don't think I've followed their politics very well, but I've seen him tangle with some people here and there, and it's generally fucking hilarious, in my opinion. Uh, Now I've heard from people smarter than I that Matt Gaetz is a pick that's not actually going to go through, but it's more like going to be like an intimidation tactic type situation. Like, look, I'll pick this. I'll have this guy do it, and we can really have some fun here, and we can do this, that, and the other thing. Um, but I'll back off and I'll pick someone else, and then we can be more reasonable. But if you want to play games, we'll play games. Okay, so that's what I've heard from. Like that is a possibility for the Matt Gaetz picks. I think Matt Gaetz would be hilarious. Um, the problem with Matt Gaetz, problem is the fact that he apparently has some um, investigation going on of him allegedly uh, doing some bad stuff sexually or some shit like that. I don't know how to really explain it. Um, no, they're allegations. They're allegations. Um, that actually like they're just allegations. Simple as that. So that's what the leftists are trying to point to. It's like, oh, he's got some allegations. He's a very naughty man, and it's like, all right, well, did those allegations come to anything? No. Okay, well then fuck off. So again, I've seen Matt Gaetz. He's done a few. I've seen him like tangle with some people, and it's always hilarious. He always owns people. So, I don't know. Such a let's see. So Trump has claimed he wants to gut the justice system. So this, if it gets Matt Gaetz through, that'd be a very crucial pick. Because Attorney General is going to be the one to help him do that. Um, so let's see. Yeah, so they've done like a year-long sex crime investigation into him, and last year, Justice Department decided not to pursue criminal charges. So that's all you really need to know. Is like we got nothing really on this, so we're not going to do this. Gates has accused the Justice Department of being weaponized under Biden against conservatives, including Trump, and has called for abolishing the DOJ and FBI, barring significant changes. Based. How can you not like this? How can you not like this? And it's true. It's obviously true. This is something that's obviously true. That Justice Department has been weaponized under Joe Biden. It's obviously true because we fucking seen it. Trump gone after over a bunch of bullshit charges. Of course, that's true. So yeah, like I said, like I've seen him tangle with people here and there. Um, and it's always entertaining. And I got a really funny video we'll check out here. Gates has already resigned from the House seat. I saw this happen, and a lot of people on Twitter is like, "Oh, he's doing this because the ethics committees are going to uh, uh, he resigned early because that way that the ethics investigation into the congressman would end if he resigned his seat. So that's why he did it. But I'm looking here, and let's see. So Mike Johnson, the House Speaker, said that Gates resigned early so that Republicans could fill his seat in time for the new Congress that starts on January 3rd. So I was listening to Charlie Kirk, and a problem with so like if a senator resigns or leaves, the governor of that state. So let's say I don't know, is it Marco Rubio? Is Marco Rubio senator? I think he's a senator. Yeah, I think Marco Rubio is a senator. So let's say Marco Rubio. So when Marco Rubio resigns, Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, can appoint someone to take his place in the Senate. The thing with Gates is that's not how it works in the House. They have to hold special elections for so for Congress people, they have to hold for it's a House. Yeah. So the vacancies in the House can take as long as 6 months to fill because representatives can only be replaced through a special election. So that actually makes a lot of sense now. I thought I didn't really, again, I didn't pay that much attention to it, but it was odd to me thinking like, that's weird that he resigned so early, and that because it's not going to be and it's not even a guarantee he'll get the job because he has to get nominated and then go through the process. But reading this and saying, according to Mike Johnson, Gates resigned early so that Republicans could hold that special election and fill his seat before the new Congress, and that actually makes a lot more sense to me. So that could be the reason. So, but yeah, I learned this from Charlie Cook that I didn't know this, but yeah, I knew senators. I knew senators could be filled by the governor of the senator's state. They could just like, all right, you go be the senator for the state. But I didn't know it wasn't the same with the House. So it's very important not to take that because we have a small lead. We have a small lead in the House. It's 218 now. I think it'll be like 219, maybe 220. I don't know. I think that'll end up being. So, we'll have a small majority in the Senate. So, I mean, with Matt Gaetz gone, that's 219. So you got to be, Trump's got to be careful about who he removes from the House, because that takes a special election that could take as long as 6 months to fill. Now, again, that doesn't mean it has to be 6 months. It just says it can take as long as 6 months. So, and that's an election held in the congressional district of former representatives. So yeah, so when you do this nomination and you have such a small lead, you got to be careful of who you take. But again, it really makes sense to me that Matt Gaetz would resign early just so he could hopefully get that new person in. before the new Congress starts in January 3rd. All right. Here's something that's really funny that I want to watch with you guys because it made me laugh. So this is from the garbage show The View, and it's so fucking hilarious. And maybe you've all seen this, maybe not, but let's check this out. All right.
How could you nominate someone with allegations
So she's talking about Matt Gaetz, FYI, if you weren't 100% sure.
of child trafficking across state lines and having sex with a 17-year-old? My understanding further on, allegations of child trafficking.
Let's listen to what she had to say. All right. She's like, how could you do this? And what could it possibly be that they could do? How could they possibly do what?
How could you nominate someone with allegations?
Allegations. All right. Allegations. These are allegations. Haven't even been confirmed yet. And even the Justice Department decided not to press criminal charges on this. Just keep that in mind, people.
Of child trafficking across state lines and having sex with a 17-year-old. My understanding further on in the interview, they discussed the fact that once he finds out that she's 17, he stops having sex with her.
Sonny, you have a legal.
I do have a legal.
So she makes this accusation or this statement, and then a few minutes later, this is what she has to do.
No, thank you, Whoopi. Matt Gaetz.
Hold on.
I do have a legal note. Thank you, Whoopi.
let's check this out. She's very pissed off. You can tell. Just look at her face. Look how upset she is. Look at that pout. Look at that disdain. Look at that anger she has to say. So she makes this, oh, how could you nominate someone who's done this, that, and the third? And now she has to go back and say something about that. And she hates every minute of it, and I love it.
You have a legal note.
I do have a legal note. Thank you, Whoopi. Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations, calling the claims, quote, invented, and saying in a statement to ABC News that this false smear following a 3-year criminal investigation should be viewed with great skepticism. That DOJ investigation was closed with no charges being brought.
We'll be right back.
You see how pissed off she is? She's so fucking angry now that, she can't just go off and, spout their bullshit without having some fear of reprisals. Because now Trump's back, baby. All right. You think he's going to play these games anymore where he's just going to let you do shit without any consequences? Because I'm pretty sure that's slander. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's slander. Because again, no criminal charges have been pressed against Matt Gaetz. We have no idea what the ethics committee was going to say. But the important thing is no criminal charges have been charged. There wasn't enough for him to be criminally held or held criminally or even charged criminally. And I love the seething you saw there. You saw so much anger and seething there, and it was glorious. It's glorious. Fuck that bitch. Fuck The View. The View is so mad they can't just spout their nonsense without having any fear of consequences, and I love it. All right. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is the Health and Human Services Secretary. Awesome. This we all knew Trump was gonna Robert F. Kennedy was gonna have a spot in his administration for sure. And I think this is a good one for him. He's a cabinet member position, so it's a really good position for Robert F. Kennedy. But I also think that he absolutely deserves it. And I think this is what he wanted. So he's let's see what he's gonna. I think he said he's gonna end pharmaceutical advertisements. Great, fucking perfect. And then there was a bunch of people who would who was saying that they were gonna quit if he became HHS secretary. All right, that's great. Now put your money where the mouth is. Let's see. So I think Ken, he's very dude's fit as fuck. He's dude fit as fuck. So I think he's a perfect person for the Human Health and Human Services. Yeah, I think he said he's gonna. Didn't I think Kennedy said he was gonna end the FDA too, or severely cut it down. So that would be good too. So, but yeah, this was an obvious pick. I think that's where Kennedy wanted to be. So obvious pick, obvious pick. This was just announced. Lyndon McMahon, who is the wife of Vince McMahon, is going to be the Department of Education. And she's definitely going to be the one who's going to end, because Trump said he wants to end the Department of Education, which people think is like the worst thing of all times. What people don't understand is that, like, for the vast majority of the country, or the history of the country, we never had a Department of Education. It's very fucking like dumb. Like, there's no point to it. States just ran it. I don't think that's going to be an issue. So that's it. So Linda McMahon. I just find it funny that Linda McMahon, she's apparently the wife of Vince McMahon, the WWE guy, and that's fucking hilarious to me. Kristi Noem, a former governor of South Dakota, is Secretary of Homeland Security. I don't know too much about this pick. She became infamous for writing a story about how she shot a dog that was untrainable, a 14-month-old. This was dumb. Like, she's dumb. Like, just for writing this book and putting it out. Oh yeah, I threw my dog in a gravel pit and shot her. Shot the dog. Sorry. So I disagree with this pick. I think it should have been Tom Homeland, who, although as part of it, he's going to be a border czar. I think he should have been a Secretary of Homeland Security. I think he'd be far more effective in that role. But I don't know exactly the outlines of the border czar. But Secretary of Homeland Security would deal with like everything, not just immigration stuff, like border stuff, but like all the immigration stuff. Yeah. Well, hopefully he'll, Noam will work, well with Homan and getting this shit done. Because this is very important. Sorry. Matt Waltz, National Security Advisor. I don't know too much about Matt Waltz. Waltz is also a Trump loyalist, which is good, because he's had issues with national security advisors in the past. Waltz is a decorated Green Beret. So, the national security advisor basically is the head intelligence officer, or head of intelligence. So all intelligence, anything that has gathered intelligence, it's going to go through him. Again, I go back to the Kristi Noem thing. I think she's a bad pick for the Secretary of Homeland Security. Again, I think Tom Holm would have been a better one. He's going to be border czar. I'm not sure what that's going to really entail for like a czar. Because it's not just the border that we have issues with; it's also the people in the interior. That's an issue too. So I don't know if the border czar will. Yeah. So let's see. So he's in charge of our nation's borders, including but not limited to southern border, northern border, all maritime and aviation security. Again, it's not limited to those things, but it's part of those things. Again, I just think it'd be far more effective in as Secretary of Homeland Security. Maybe that's the plan. Maybe Kristi Noem's just a holding place while Holman focuses on, because with Trump, with this position, it's he can say, hey, you can do X, whatever here, there, and there. Because again, the problem with the immigration is not just the border; it's also the illegal immigrants, the illegal immigrants in the interior already. So that's an issue there as well. But we'll see. We'll see. Like, because this isn't an actual position. This is quote unquote like a new position that's more of a play on for from the from Kamala. Uh, so it's not really. I don't think it's been clearly defined. Um, so, but if again, if Christy Nome ends up being good and works well with Tom Holman, then I won't have any complaints. I just think Tom Holman would be a better pick because again, the Homeland Security, that's everything in interior, and he'd be far more effective. But he works hand in hand well with this. And again, it depends on what's defined for Trump, or what Trump defines his borders are, like his roles in it and all that stuff. So Susie Wiles, she was in charge of his campaign, helped with running his campaign. Very obvious. I think most campaign managers become chief of staff, so not a surprise there. And then Vivek and Elon Musk, Department of Government Efficiency. I love this Doge. They memed a new position in the Trump administration. So these are guys who are gonna basically dismantle government bureaucracy, slash regulations, cut wasteful expenditures, and restructure federal agencies. So this is gonna be great. This is great. But it is yet to be seen if this is gonna be if this will actually be a good position where they'll effectively do you know effectively cut all this stuff, or if it's gonna end up becoming another bureaucracy of bullshit. So we'll see. I say we'd have to give it probably a year or two. Because it's a new position. They got to work out the kinks and shit like that. But we'll see. These are two very smart men who are very concerned or interested in cutting wasteful. They're very critical of wasteful of ineffective government. So it'd be very interesting to see how this goes. Oh, interesting. So on Trump's thing where he announced this, he says their work will conclude no later than July 4th of 2026. So it'll have a year. So we'll see. Interesting. I think again this is a good position. Especially for Vic. Because I think Vivek will be a great president candidate in the future. I don't think he was a great president pick, even though I'm a giant fan of him. I really like what he says. I don't think he was a great pick for this time around, and even next time around. But this is a good position for him. And then maybe in the next administration he'll actually hold a higher position in a cabinet, and we can see if he's all talk or if he actually does. This is a great job for him to see if he's all talk or if he's actually can put his money where his mouth is. And if he does well, either in this presidency, maybe Trump will replace him, or in the next Republican presidency, he can be in a cabinet position. Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence. Wait, it's a fucking National Security Advisor then. I thought that was it. Hold on, maybe I messed up. Let's see. Oh, sorry, I messed up here. So yeah, National Security Advisor. I'm a fucking idiot. Is chief advisor to the national government on matters of security. Let's see. Yeah. So yeah, it looks like a national security advisor. It's just national security issues, but that would include anything. So I think I guess he's the top guy when it comes to national security. Probably someone that Tulsi Gabbard would serve under. So any issues with security that so yeah, no, yeah, so there we go. So yeah, DNI. So this one, the DNI is head of the United States intelligence community and oversees the national intelligence program. All 100 or all 18 intelligence communities, including CIA, Defense Intelligence Agency, and National Security Agency, report directly to the DNI, and they sit on the National Security Council. And then obviously the National Security Advisor is the head. Yeah, so there we go. All right, sorry. So she'd serve under Waltz, and she's the head of all the intelligent agencies. My bad, people. My bad. So all the intelligent agencies report to her, and then she would report to Waltz. I like Tulsi Gabbard. I haven't really had any issues with her. People complain about her foreign policy, et cetera, et cetera. I think she's smart. I like the fact that she ended Kamala's campaign within like minutes. That was pretty cool. She's a vet and all that, so decent person there. I don't like the simping that people have done for her. Like she was like doing some shooting, and a bunch of dudes was like, "Oh yeah, this is our new DNI. It's so fucking hot." Like, okay, dude, okay, whatever. Like, yes, is she attractive? Yes, but who the fuck cares? Like, I don't know. Like I said, she's fine. I haven't heard much issues with her. I've heard the complaint she's a Russian shill or some shit like that, but that's always what they complain about with anyone is, oh, she's a Russian shill. She's a Russian shill. So I don't care. And then the CIA director is John Radcliffe. The only thing I really know about him is let's see, is that the Democrats were very upset with him with this pick, apparently, and then it's pretty fucking funny, honestly. So I don't know much about him. And then whatever. Oz is hilarious just because it's funny. But here's the best one. Tom Homan, the border czar. He's the one who's been all in with the. He's the one who's been all in. It's like we need to mass deportation. We need to take these remove these people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Which I think is great. It's wonderful. It's the best thing ever. He's gonna be really great. I look forward. I like Tom Homan since he went against AOC. The border czar hasn't really been clearly defined, so it really depends. Hopefully it just what it ends up being is Trump just delegates all the border and immigration stuff to Homan, and Kristi Noem deals with other things related to Homeland Security. But Trump just says, look, you take care of everything with the border and immigration, all that stuff, like the illegals of that aspect. You take care of all of the illegal immigration and whatnot. That's your role as border czar, and Kristi Noem, you take care of all the other stuff. And Tom Homan just solely focuses on illegal immigration. If that ends up being the definition of his role, I don't think there'll be any issues. And it might be a better choice on Trump's part not to have Homan as Homeland Security Director, or was it Secretary of Homeland Security? If he just cuts that part of Homeland Security and says, look, you deal Tom, you deal with anything regarding illegal immigration, period. And that's your role as border czar. Because if you don't remember, this is Tom Homan. You guys don't remember who Tom Homan is. This guy. This is Tom Homan. Okay.
First of all, your comments are disgusting. I've served my
I
country.
find your
I've served my
comments
country. I've
disgusting
served
as
my
well,
country
sir.
34
I
years.
find your
This
comments
is out of
disgusting
control.
as well.
I've served my country for 34 years, and yes, I held a 5-year-old boy in my arms in back that tractor trailer. I knelt down beside him and said a prayer for him because I knew what his last 30 minutes of his life was like, and I had a 5-year-old son at the time. What I've been trying to do my 34 years serving my nation is to save lives. So for you to sit there and insult my integrity and my love for my country.
This is back when he was director of ICE.
And for children, that's why this whole thing needs to be fixed. And you're the member.
We agree on that.
Fix it.
We agree on that, but I disagree. But I also disagree with your characterization of immigrants as prone to criminality.
People for 3 decades on this.
Gentlemen, time is.
Look, you want to know why there's 50,000 people in detention? You want to know why we have 1 million illegal entries in the United States? You want to know how these issues?
Now, let's be fair. Tom Homan, not an eloquent speaker. Okay? No, not the best. But fuck that. Dude's a G.
Because you have failed to secure the border. You have failed to work with this president to close the 3 loopholes we've asked for 2 years to close. So if you want to know why this issue exists, you need to look in the mirror. You have failed American people for not securing the border and closing loopholes.
Mr. Homan,
Look,
please respect
Fuck you, Jaya Paula. Fuck this bitch.
the
I love this because he just makes her throw a tantrum, and it's the best. Let's listen to this.
chair and the authority of the chair. The
you have-
time of the gentleman has expired.
I've asked you politely to let me go
Gentleman
beyond my time, and you let
gentlewoman
other people
from-
go beyond their time, but not to Tom Homan. He don't get to go
We
beyond his
have-
time.
Mr. Homan, we have
This is
approved
a
an
circus.
agreement
This is a circus.
between the Republicans and the Democrats with the ranking member. We increased the time of one member of Congress who was interrupted by a protest. That is done with the approval of the ranking member. Please respect the chair's authority. The
I respect the
gentlewoman-
chair's
the
authority,
gen-
but the chair.
Mr. Homan.
You work for
excuse
me. I'm a taxpayer.
I love that. He caused this bitch to get triggered the fuck out. She slammed her gavel a bunch of times. He's like, I don't give a shit if you're going to keep slamming your gavel. Go fuck yourself. That was his attitude. I love it.
I'm a taxpayer. You work for me.
So the recommendation
Oh, this is the best one. This is what really made Tom Homan famous, I think.
of the many that you recommended family
I
separation,
recommend a 0 tolerance.
which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get
parents.
arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Holman, with
family.
all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
Look at that fucking smugness. This smugness of this problem. Legal asylums are not charged with any crime. Like she's schooling this guy who's been doing this longer than she's been fucking alive. Like, fuck this.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum, you go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
Okay.
We have
That condescending. Legal asylums are not charged with any crime. Legal asylum is legal. Or seeking asylum is legal. He's like, it's like, if you want to seek asylum, don't illegally cross the border. Go to a port of entry. If you cross the border illegally, that's a crime.
Seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
I love that. He's like, yeah, of course there's a way to do mass deportation without separating families. They can all go. Fuck them.
Start packing now. You're damn right. Because you're going home. I got another message. Another message to the criminal cartels in Mexico. You smuggled enough fentanyl across this country to kill 148,000 young Americans. You have killed more Americans than every terrorist organization in the world combined. And that's when President Trump gets back in office. He's going to designate you a terrorist organization, and he's going to wipe you off the face of the earth. You're done. You're done. Why would you release 5 or 6 female children to one male sponsor? Why would you do that? So God help these children. God help these children. I love kids. And this administration, I don't want to hear another word about you being humane. You're putting children at risk. Record number of Americans are dying. Record numbers of migrants are dying. There's one guy who can fix this shit, and it's Donald Trump. Look, I knew President Trump was going to run before you did, because I had dinner with him in Las Vegas about 6 months before he announced. And we're having dinner, and looked at me and says, Dom, I think I'm coming back. If I come back, can I get you to come back? I says, I tell you what, sir, I'm so pissed off, I'll come back for free.
Oh. So that's Tom Homan. Love Tom Homan. Fucking great. He's a great guy. So yeah, I guess, like I said, we're just waiting to see what really the clear definition, what, like, he has to do his borders are. I think it'd be a great idea just to make it so again, I think it'd be a great idea to take that section of Homeland Security that deals with all illegal immigration and cut it out and say, here, Tom, this is your baby. Anything dealing with the illegal immigration, you're the one who oversees, because Trump can do that. And be like, all right, this section of your responsibility as Homeland Security Director, that's taken away from you. This is going to go to Tom, and he can deal with that for this administration. And the next administration is like, all right, we're eliminating borders are Homeland Security. Here you go. So we'll see. Again, we'll see how it goes. But again, I'm excited. I like Tom Homan. I think that's great. Pick. All right. Here's something that's really exciting.
Seventh, I will protect the right of self-defense everywhere it is under siege, and I will sign concealed carry reciprocity. Your Second Amendment does not end at the state line. In addition, seventh, I will protect.
So that's something that Trump is saying that he's going to do. So basically, the concealed carry is just going to work just like a driver's license, work anywhere. So Brandon Herrera tweeted this out, and it has been floated around since, for a while now, that to have the AK guy, a YouTuber, and also a guy who nearly won his Texas district. To tap this guy as the director of ATF, which would be awesome. And he's been trying to float, like, make me ATF, have me as ATF, it'd be great. I love this. National Association of Gun Rights. People keep asking for Sirius about endorsing the AK guy as ATF director. Sirius has a heart attack. And Brandon Herrera says that if he becomes ATF director, he's gonna within 100 days, I think, end the ATF. Just gonna shut it down. I just want to see. Okay, so if I was to become director of ATF under Trump administration, it's where he put it out like what he would do within 100 days. All right, whatever, not a big deal. All right, there we go. But yeah, that'd be funny if the AK guy became director of ATF. It's a garbage organization, regardless. So, what was the ATF director has not been picked? It'd be so funny if Brandon Herrera ends up being it. It'd be so fucking funny. All right. So we're nearing the end of my time here. So I want to give my opinion on how I think this Trump presidency should really go. I think Trump should focus on doing his promises, ending the wars, getting the border cleaned up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think he should focus less on, doing like press stuff and being in the spotlight and all that stuff. Although I'm sure he will, because he's Trump and he has that ego. But let's all remember this. This is Trump's second term, okay? And he's not going to have a term after this. So this is really, the second term is really for him to actually get shit done. And so the second term is all about Trump getting shit done and doing it well enough that Republicans have a shot at the presidency next year. Okay, so he needs to get the economy back going well. He needs to get the economy going, get it, back up to par or on its way. He needs to get the wars ended. He needs to get this the immigration problem under control and all that stuff. That's what Trump really needs to be focused on. And then JD Vance, and then like he should be focusing on getting shit done, and then having JD Vance do more of the spotlight stuff. Because again, like I said, this is a second term, all right, for Trump, so he's not going to get another term. That's what generally like the first term really of the presidency is to do well enough that you can get reelected for the next term, and then next term you really get shit. You should be really getting shit done because it's your last chance. So that's what Trump needs to do, just focusing on getting this country back on track to where it needs to be. Where our shit's getting our getting inflation under control, getting these war ended, doing all his promises and whatnot. While JD Vance should be the one in the spotlight, because let's be honest, okay, regardless of who you like, whether you like Ron DeSantis or feel like Ron DeSantis or you like Vivek or whoever, the obvious front runner for the presidency in 2028 for the Republican side is JD Vance. That's going to be him, and so Trump needs to do well, and JD Vance needs time in the spotlight to show who he is, because that's who we're going to be voting for in 2028. It's almost guaranteed, especially if Trump does well. If Trump does well, it's almost a guarantee that JD Vance is the one who ends up being the nominee. So Trump should be working behind the scenes, focusing on getting shit done, and JD Vance should be, kind of like how they ran the campaign. If you noticed, towards the end of the campaign, they started having Trump just do the rallies, and then JD Vance doing the interviews. That's what they ended up having started doing, and that's how they should run the presidency. This is Trump focusing on getting the country fixed, and JD Vance handling like the more public areas. Because Trump only has 4 more years. That's all he got. He's only got 4 years. Okay, he doesn't have like a potential of 8 years. He has only 4. And he's inheriting a dog shit economy, inflation, wars, immigration issues. So he needs to be more focused on getting those fixed up so that JD Vance can continue his whatever he wants. Any policies Trump has that's long term, he obviously needs to implement now. Like the tariffs, the benefits from any tariff stuff isn't going to happen for like 6 years, I think. So while he can implement them now, he's going to really have to have JD Vance carry that on. So that's why he needs to do well. So any of the positive economic plans that Trump has, he needs Vance to carry forward. Because again, he's not going to have 8 years to see him through. He's only going to have those 4 years. I think for the first 100 days, what Trump really needs is some really quick wins. So reinstalling all his executive policies, because Congress takes fucking forever. But reinstating all his executive orders that Biden eliminated, anything he can do to lower the price of gas. So what Trump really needs to focus on for his first 100 days, some real quick, easy wins. Obviously sprinkling in, some works here and there to do some long-term stuff, but at least get some quick, easy wins. Mostly just to shut up these leftists who are like, "Oh, end of the world." Any of his tax policies, I don't really know how implementing new tax policies work, but like if you can get those if Trump could really would be really great if Trump could do is his tax his child tax credit and that he wants to implement. He gets it implemented and then makes it retroactive where like everyone who because his was what 5,000 or 6,000. Yeah, it was a 5,000 tax credit for everyone. So if he could implement that and then have it retroactive, so like, hey, this last year, this tax season. So obviously when you do your taxes, you do taxes for 2024, and generally any new tax policy that only counts in 2025 for that tax standard. But if you could be like, hey, 2024, if you had a kid or whatever, my tax policy will count alongside it. That'd be a really good win for Trump. I don't know if he can do that. I'm not an expert, but it'd be really funny. But yeah, whatever he can do in those first 100 days to really like get things situated. Like if he could end those wars, like he said. Although again, with Ukraine and Russia, I don't know now. It looks like Trump, Biden's handlers might have tried to sabotage him with this these bullshit strikes. But we'll see. But definitely, reinstituting his border policies through executive orders, and then if he goes, if he gets it as a quick, as hey, let's get this fixed real quick, and then we can go through the House and Congress. To there's the House and Congress through Congress to get this codified into law. We'll do it then. We'll work that through. But and voter ID, he needs to get Congress and Senate to vote on that. We have a majority. Voter ID should be put in immediately. So there's no real like stalling any because it's 2 years for Congress and then they get real, another election happens. So he really needs to hit the ground running and implement a lot of his policies, and anything that needs to get passed through Congress, he needs to start like as soon as possible. So like I said, like voter ID, any voter ID laws that might end up, or stuff with like Congress might have to wait 6 months after his presidency. If he gets because I noticed he has some House picks, and like I said, for the House, it requires a special election for them to appoint a new person in the House, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. What can you do? So it might take 6 months for him to. So first 100 days, he really should hit the ground running and reinstitute his border policies. Work with the whole Elon Musk and Vivek with Doge, and make progress in removing government ineffectiveness and bureaucracy. So basically, the Trump presidency needs to be basically a what's the word I'm looking for? And he needs to make good on his promises, and he also needs to prop up JD Vance as the next president. He'll have JD Vance do a lot of the spotlight stuff, so he can have more name recognition. Get him to keep maybe any of the press crap, even though Trump loves it. You should just send JD Vance to do it. I think that would be smart. I don't think he'll do that, but it'd be very smart to like any press stuff. Have JD Vance do it. Would be really would be really cool if there's always that State of the Union they end up doing. Have JD Vance do it instead. Like, hey, I'm too busy fixing the country. We're gonna have I'm gonna have JD Vance do the State of the Union. That'd be pretty funny. But yeah, just have JD Vance be the mouthpiece of the Trump presidency. I doubt Trump will do that. He has too much of an ego. But yeah, we'll see. But that's what I think, Trump presidency really needs to do is just focus on cleaning up the country, any policies that are long-term implement, and then, do well enough that JD Vance is like a shoo-in for the White House. Because again, like I said, he's the vice president. Like the every time, president leaves office because he's served his 8 years or he doesn't run for his next term, it's always the vice president who ends up being the nominee, especially if it's a good presidency. So, yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm very excited for this Trump presidency. I really hope he gets a lot of things that he wants done. He wants to eliminate the income tax. That'd be great. If he could do that, oh my God, that'd be so awesome. Child tax credit, that'd be great too. I'm sure he'll get that done, no problem. So if you have kids, $5,000, that'd be awesome. $5,000 per child. It was funny too. People are dumb. It's really how dumb people were. because I remember seeing people arguing. It was like, well, Kamala Harris wants to give you 6,000 child tax credit. Yeah, for newborns. And then it drops down to 300 or 3,600. And from like 1 to 5, and then 5 and older, it dropped down to, was it 3 or 32? So like, how great is that? While with Trump's, it was 5 all year long. It was 5 every time. Every time you did your taxes, you'd get 5 for each kid. But somehow people really liked the Kamala tax credit, child tax credit, which only was 6,000 for newborns. No one really paid attention. Anyways, I have 2 kids, so you know, a 5K in my taxes be fucking great. That's 10K right there. that'd be okay with me. So I look forward to 2025 tax season because you know I'm sure by then that child tax credit will be in. But it'd be really cool if he gets it. He gets it in like it's like one of the first things he does, and then makes it retroactive. He'd be like, "Hey, you know, if you have whatever, you know, however many kids, you get 5K now for this tax season for 2024 tax season." That'd be funny. I doubt that'll happen, but it'd be really nice. I'd be happy with that. All right. Hope you all guys enjoyed the video. My throat's killing me. I need to remember to bring like some water or something so I can soothe my delicate throat. So, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Make sure you like, subscribe, give me a follow. I hope you have a good day. Peace out, and I will see you later. Peace.